Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nirma Adriani. I'm class BG 6E. Thanks for change that given to me. I will explain about all of the pragmatics materials. The first, pragmatics in its scope. Pragmatics is a branch of linguistics that studies the relationship between the external content of the language and the meaning of speech. The content outside the language is the element outside the speech that affect the meaning of the utterance. Indeed, cannot be seen from the form and meaning alone, but also from the place and time of speaking, who is involved, the purpose, the form of speech, the way of delivery, the means of speaking, the norms, and the gender. What is studied in pragmatics includes speech as speech implicature, conversation, interaction, and conversation internal factor such as deixis. Next, speech as and speech event. Speech as is a situation where when you say something you are actually talking and actions. So speeches is not just a speech but also an action. The speech action focus more on the meaning of the action in the speech delivery. For example, it's hot in here. Speech as one important area of pragmatics is that of speech as. While our communicative acts, the conveyance intended language function, speech as include functions such as request, apology, suggestion, commands, offer, and appropriate responses to those acts. Of course, speakers of this action were not thoroughly successful until the intended meaning the convey are understood by listener. Kind of speech as the first illocutionary acts. The action is a basic speech that is actually what you say. There are no hidden intention and have meaning. Example, the weather is really hot in here. The second, illocutionary acts. Utterance that has deeper meaning or has a specific purpose. Example, oh, it is hot in here. And the last, perlocutionary acts. The action it is done by the hearer is actually affected by the speaker. Example, it is hot in here. Speech event. Speech event is a leads to a page of speaking or chatting activities carried out by several people. The way of speaking or the conversations will usually form similar pattern, and that is what is called a speech event. For example, when asking someone for a place, a conversation will occur between the two of them, and all conversations that are carried out by both of them are called speech events. Next, deixis, prepositions, and entailment. Deixis in pointing via language to encompasses the point of language in deixis. We use indexical, which are commonly called dictate expression. The expression of this expression depends on the speaker and listener. When there is a verbal interaction that is carried out face to face with each other. In the content of deixis, there are three types that must be elements. The first, person deixis, related to pronouns. Spatial deixis relate to the location of the speaker, and temporal deixis which relate to time. It should be noted that the person deixis must pay attention to social and honorifics. For example, yesterday I saw you at the market. Personal deixis. Personal deixis are the deixis personal concern itself with the grammatical people involved in utterance. Those who are directly involved. For example, speaker, interlocutor. Those who are not directly involved. For example, those who hear the utterance, but who is directly involved not addresses directly, and which is mentioned in the speech. In English, differences are generally indicated by the pronouns. I'm going to the movie. Would you like to have dinner? They tried to hurt me, but he came to the rescue. Spatial deixis. Spatial deixis or place deixis relates to the relevant spatial location of the utterance. As with personal deixis, the location can be the location of the speaker and the intercultural or the response or subject being referred to. Most prominent example of English are the adverbs here and here, there and here and there. The demonstrative this, that, and that, though they are form exclusive. Some example, the sentence, I love living in the city. This is the word why we will place the statue. He is sitting there. Temporal deixis. Temporal deixis or time deixis deal with the various time involved and reference to in utterance. This includes adverb or of time such as now, then, and so on, as well as different form of the verb. A further example is the word tomorrow, which denoted the next day in a row after any day in use. Tomorrow, when pronounced one day last year, denoted a different day than tomorrow. When pronounced next week, a verb of time can be relative to the time when utterance was made. What Fillmore referred to as including time or et, or the time the utterance were heard. Fillmore's decoding time or dt. Although this often coincide, they can differ, as in the case of practice or the recorded respondents. For example, if someone is going to write, it's raining now, but I hope when you read it will be sunny. Discord deixis. Discord deixis, also known as the deixis, reference to use of the expression in an utterance to refer to the part of discourse that contain utterance, including the utterance themselves. For example, as this is a good story. Social deixis. Social deixis concern social information that is encoded in various expressions such as relative, social status, and familiar. The two main form the so-called TV. Distinction and honorific. Preposition. Preposition is a supposed event or real thing by the speaker, but the speaker has yet to say what is on his mind. In other words, preposition is known for predictive them as well. For example, your cat is eating. While entitlement. Entitlement is a sentence or expression that is logical and follows what has by emphasis in the speech. This entailment consists of two sentences, where two sentences have the meaning of the relationship between relationship. For example, between sentence. For example, sentence. A little brother studies hard. Sentence. The second, by leader brother has got the best ranking. Analytic. An analytic sentence in one which is necessary true because the sentence of the word in it. Therefore, an analytic sentence can be judged true without recourse to real world knowledge separate from the sense of the word contained in it. Example, elephant are animals, cats are not fish. My brother is small. Contradictions. A contradiction sentence or a contradiction is a sentence which is necessarily false because of the sentence of the word in the sentence. Example, elephants are not animals, cats are fish. A man is a butterfly. Synthetic. A synthetic sentence is the one which is not analytic or contradictory, but which might be true or false depending on the way the word is. Example, my old cousin is female, my brother is tall, some cats eat wool. Comparative, next, comparison, maxim, and implicature. Definition of comparative principle. In pragmatics, the comparative principle explains how human can communication effective in conversation in internal social situation. This principle explains how speaker cooperate, travel, and exchange speech or other to understand in a certain way. Example of cooperative. When a speaker makes a statement, them seem uninformative or something, the interlocutor will positive himself and be cooperative and look the implicature make the speaker. Example, Rani. I think I will get a plus on my math exam, Mawar, only if pig can fly. Definition of maxim. A literary device, maxim is a simple and memorable line, quote, and rule for taking action and leading a good life. Simple, but it is a thought with the moralistic value is indeed to motivate individuals. Maxim is in fact a type of saying and brief statement of a great talk about life, especially a sententations or aphorisms. One such as he who has this is lost. It helps in characterizing characters. There are four types of maxim: maxim of quality, maxim of quantity, maxim of relevant, and maxim of manner. Everyday example of maxim: it's better to be self than sorry. You are never to learn. Opposites attract. You can talk an old dog new trick. Nothing fulfilled, nothing goes. One man's meat is another man's poison. We promise according to our hopes and perform according to our prayer. It is all the wish from the other when you ourselves. And definition implicature. Implicature can be defined as something the speaker suggests or imply, though it is not verbally express it. Example for implicator in life day. Budi, Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, Budi, I'm hungry, Mom. Budi, I have cooked a delicious food on the table. Implicator based on the conversation, we can conclude the mom asks Budi to have meal or take food by himself. By directly check the food on the table. uh, and uh, and the last, politeness and interaction. Face mean in the public self-image of a person as a reference to emotional and social sense of self that everyone has and asks everyone else to recognize. In terms of interaction, politeness can be defined as the means employed to show award for another person's face. Showing awareness for another person when faced when the other seems socially distant is even described in terms of respect or difference. Politeness occurs in the interaction. Politeness is differ in some culture, particularly to each local culture. Politeness happens when we are respect to the listener. Some factor determine the politeness: lexical choice, the word, would, or etc. Sentence structure. We use common sentence by using asking sentence and three, gesture and posture. Use our part of body to support to our speech. We cannot use freely all part our body to support our speech as. And the last, intonation. Example of politeness. Excuse me, Mr. Buckingham, but can I talk you for a minute? Hey Becky, got a minute? Politeness is correlate to degree a relationship. The more we act politeness, then our relation must be far close. On the contrary, the less we act politely, then the